guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. Today is a very exciting day because, as you can see by the title of today's video, we are continuing the Halloween franchise with Halloween 2018. Finally, finally getting into the newest installments, the Blumhouse films. Yeah, I'm so excited. But before I get into the rest of the video and watch the film with you guys, I just want to quickly explain something because I know technically the next films in the franchise that I have to cover after Resurrection are the Rob Zombie films. They were made in 2007 and 2009, so yeah, technically they do come next. But to be just perfectly honest with you guys, plain and simple, I just do not feel like covering the Rob Zombie films next. And don't get me wrong, I actually quite like Rob Zombie's 2007 remake. Like, I think it's fine. Completely unnecessary, but it's enjoyable for the most part, and I truly don't mind doing a commentary like on that one day. But Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 from 2009, I just truly do not ever see myself covering that film on my channel, or just even watching it ever again. I don't say I hate films too often because that just is kind of dramatic, honestly, but I hate Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'm sorry. I just have to admit that the little Halloween universe that Rob Zombie created is just not for me. That's not the Michael Myers that I love, that's not the Laurie Strode that I love, and that's not the Dr. Loomis that I love. Yeah, I maybe possibly would do like a short little video reviewing both of the films just so that I can say that I cover them on this channel, but me doing a commentary on Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, that just would not be a good video for anybody. And just really quickly, I have nothing against Rob Zombie. Like, I like some of his music and some of his films. Just his Halloween films are not. They're not for me, and that's fine. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly explain why I'm not covering those films next. It really is as simple as I don't want to. So yeah, Halloween 2018, directed by David Gordon Green. First installment in the new Halloween trilogy. So as we all know, 40 years after the original, Jamie Lee Curtis is back as Laurie, and this completely disregards all of the other sequels. Just a direct sequel to the original. I remember when I first heard they were doing that, and I was like, smart. This is the smartest thing they could have done. Just going back to its roots. Disregard everything and just do a direct sequel to the original. This film was also very famously a requel, so beyond being just a sequel to the original, it's like a soft reboot, so kind of reviving a franchise that's been dormant for quite a bit. Thank goodness for these Blumhouse films, because for almost about 10 years, the last Halloween film that we had was Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So thankfully we finally get to get that nasty taste out of our mouths. And yeah, I don't want this intro to be too much longer. Let's get into Halloween 2018. Gosh, I remember seeing this opening night 2018, which apparently this was the first Halloween film since Halloween 5 to be released in October, which is crazy. But yeah, I remember watching this opening night, and I remember that night specifically because it was kind of the night that started like this really terrible period in my life, like the worst period of my life. Completely unrelated to the film, of course, but it's crazy how our minds associate certain things with other things that are just completely unrelated. Like, as much as I loved this film after first watching it, I couldn't watch it for the longest time because it reminded me of this really terrible night in my life. Thank goodness I'm completely over that and I can watch it completely fine now, but it's just crazy to look back like at my life and how much it's changed for the better over the years. Anyway, enough of that.
There he is. He can speak. He just chooses not to.
This opening is just really great. Like, I've always enjoyed it. This film, like, overall, I have very few critiques. Like, I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's pretty amazing. However, this character, Dr. Sartain, is one of my critiques, and I'll talk a little bit more about him and why later on in the film. But yeah, I'll just say he could have been completely eliminated from the film, and I would have been fine with that.
Say something, Michael. Say something.
And they do manage to show his face a little bit, which typically I would not be okay with. I definitely lean more towards let's not ever show what's underneath the mask. Let's keep him mysterious as he should be. However, I feel like it's done in a way that just doesn't bother me that much. I mean, you gotta remember in the original they do show his face, so it's nothing new. if we kind of get a glimpse of his face a little bit. I know some people get really upset like when they show his face. It doesn't bother me that much in this film, so.
Say something!
I remember getting chills in the theater after watching that opening scene. Just complete chills. However, I have to be honest with you guys, when I first saw this intro with the pumpkin, I really wasn't the biggest fan of it. I literally remember thinking like, kind of looks like CGI. However, I had to eat dirt because I found out it was not in fact CGI. It was, you know, a rotting pumpkin, and then they played it in reverse so it looks like it's kind of rising from the dead, and it has grown on me. Like, I like it a lot now. I will say though, Halloween Kills still has my favorite opening, like as far as like opening credits scene, I mean, with the multiple pumpkins like on fire. It's so beautiful. But like I said, I've grown to love this one. And then the main Halloween theme for this film is just amazing. Like, I still listen to all of these soundtracks almost on a daily basis. They're just so good. I love this reintroduction to the character of Laurie Strode, who is no longer Michael's sister.
I'm twice divorced, and I'm a basket case.
I love it. It makes sense to me that this would be Laurie. Like, this feels to me the same Laurie from 1978 and how she would be after all these years at this point in her life after what has happened to her.
I'll accept my payment. Get out.
Good for you, girl.
We're excited to meet Cameron.
That whole family, though, had a reputation.
Right.
So here we're introduced to Laurie's daughter Karen and her daughter Allison, and I didn't realize it until much later that that actor who plays Karen's husband, Allison's dad, played a character back in the day from a show called The Adventures of Pete and Pete, beloved show from the 90s. He played a character named Artie, the strongest man in the world. I used to love that show, so it was kind of fun finding out that little piece of trivia.
Did you invite grandmother like you said you would? To bat tonight?
But yeah, Andy Matichak, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is one of my favorite parts about these films. I think she is incredible, and I love the character of Allison. And Judy Greer in this, I mean, I think her character shines more in Kills, but I think she's incredible in this as well. And I just think they did a really good job with casting these new Halloween films. Like, I really think they did an amazing job. I love it so much. I know there are some people who don't like the homages to the original. Like, I've heard some people complain that it's too much and that they overdid it. I completely disagree. There's maybe only like one line of dialogue, and it's not even really an homage to the original, that I don't really like, and it's towards the end. I'll point it out when we get to it. But I love all of the homages to the original. Like, of course I do. This one is my second favorite. My favorite, of course, comes later in the film. I'm sure you already know what it is.
Say goodbye to Michael and get over it.
Goodbye.
Jeez, Laurie stays ready. That actually got me. I've seen this like several times already, and that still got me.
My suggestion is termination.
Loomis!
There's nothing to be gained.
Not Michael wearing socks and flip-flops. But yeah, I love this homage to Loomis. I'm glad that they found a little way to incorporate him in this film and new trilogy. Oh, Laurie. So I wanted to ask you guys a question about Laurie and what you think of this Laurie. If you prefer Laurie like 40 years after 1978 here, or the Laurie Strode 20 years after 1978 and 1998 in H2O. Not that there's any reason to compare them because it's two completely different timelines, so it really doesn't matter, but I was just curious what you guys thought. And I just find it personally so interesting because I love both iterations of this character. I love the Laurie as the head mistress pretending to be Carrie Tate. I've tried it all, group therapy, meditation, you know, that Laurie who is still deeply traumatized but still somehow manages to cope with it and have this illusion of a normal, successful life. But I also absolutely love this Laurie, who's very clearly not okay, very clearly traumatized and a self-proclaimed basket case, a recluse, somebody her own family doesn't even really want to be around. I don't know, it's just really interesting. I love both films. I love this and H2O, and I love both Lauries. And both films were kind of like a return for Jamie Lee Curtis and Laurie Strode. And I think they both work. I was just curious what you guys thought. If maybe you had a personal preference, if you like this Laurie dealing with trauma, or if you like 1998 Laurie. Just curious.
Yes, it looks good on you. You know, I was in the Honor Society too.
Why don't you sit down, Mom?
Go for a walk.
Did it go great?
Yeah, it went really.
Hey, Mom.
That's mine.
That's also very H2O Laurie too. That really does break my heart.
I never told you how I spent my childhood. I learned how to shoot a gun when I was 8.
So this is a really weird flashback scene where we kind of see how Karen grew up with Laurie. I could have done without the flashbacks to her as a kid. I don't know, I just don't really like the way it was edited. And I also know the general consensus is Judy Greer's acting is not very good in this scene. It's very wooden and scripted. And I definitely thought the same thing when I first saw it. It's grown on me since then. I still don't love it or this like little scene, like this little flashback scene, but I can see how it was necessary to kind of explain Karen's resentment towards Laurie and like explain why their current relationship would be so strained.
Sweetheart. Dad, look out!
I love this. Another homage to the original with the mental patients roaming the streets. It's not as terrifying as the original though. I mean, what could be? That shot of the mental patients from the original just in the dark. All you can kind of see is like their silhouettes, and then the white gowns in the darkness is terrifying. And yeah, Michael is escaped once again. When are these people gonna stop transferring him on or around Halloween time? Like, come on.
Don't shoot!
Should have been a headshot, honestly. And this was a bit shocking, honestly. Michael's first like real on-screen killing of a child. I mean, I guess technically teenagers are children. We never saw him kill a child before. So pretty dark, pretty dark. Poor kid just wanted to dance.
Yo, Hawkins, would you like a strawberry slushie or blue raspberry slushie?
You just bring me a coffee, will you?
I love this introduction to Hawkins' character. Another just great new character in this trilogy. And we find out eventually that he was actually there in 1978 when they apprehended Michael. So that kind of links him to Michael in some way, which is really cool.
Still checking IDs of the patients we recovered to figure out who's who.
And this dude, the sheriff, other than having like a really cool look, just kind of useless. I wish they had given him more to do. And this is the case in all 3 of the films. This one kills and ends. He just doesn't have really anything to do. Could have been eliminated too, honestly. I love that you could just see him walk in the background, like just a little speck, like blink and you'll miss it type of thing.
Excuse me, someone's in here.
Like, do you guys remember when the trailer for this first came out? Like that tingly excitement, like we're getting a new Halloween movie. I'm kind of nostalgic for that time, not gonna lie. Oof, his jaw. That is crazy. Like, I just want to take a second and shout out the special effects team and Christopher Nelson for doing these incredible practical effects. Like, they are absolutely incredible. This scene is gnarly. And I love the H2O homage. But how absolutely disgusting having to crawl on that filthy bathroom floor. Ugh.
Michael.
I mean, he tries, but yikes. I mean, you can definitely see Michael's face here and there. Like, it's very quick shots. I mean, I really don't have any issue with it. I do wish that he had the mask on at this point, but that's kind of just nitpicking, honestly. And also, with the mask being off, you can see his messed up eye from when Laurie stabbed him in the eye with the hanger in the original, so that's great. Great attention to detail. I actually have a hard time watching this. I'm kind of sensitive to head trauma when it's really well done and realistic, which this is. Oof. Oh my god. So good. Looking sharp, Mike. Looking sharp. Yeah, that scene is just goosebumps, like incredible, groundbreaking, and such a perfect reintroduction to Michael and the brutality of Michael. Yeah, I love that scene so much. This is my favorite sequence in the whole film. Oh my gosh. It's so good. It's so good. He looks so good. He's so scary. James Jude Courtney did a phenomenal job as the Shape. Like, it really does feel like this is Nick Castle as the Shape, but 40 years later. And I love the homage to Halloween 2, Mr. and Mrs. Elrod. You want mayonnaise on your sandwich? How about mustard? Ugh, yes. Look at all those pumpkins. So cool. So good. I love that shot. Perfect sequence. My favorite sequence in the whole film. Just makes me so pumped up and so happy to be a Halloween fan. They just did such an amazing job with that sequence. I love seeing Michael stalk. I love him creeping behind houses, sneaking into houses, coming up behind people. It's just perfection.
You used to be my favorite, but now you're like my 10th favorite boy that I nanny.
If I had some other kind of babysitter, I wouldn't be up clipping my nasty ass toenail.
Okay, so let me explain really quick kind of like my issues with the humor in this film. So for example, like in this scene, I don't mind a little lighthearted banter between characters. Like, it's fine. We're no longer in a tense part of the film. We're getting to know these side characters. Yeah, I don't mind a little humor here and there. It's just, it's later, and I'll bring this up when it happens, but I've said it before on this channel, but I don't want humor in moments of tension or kill scenes. The Scream franchise is definitely more guilty of that than this franchise, but it happens later in this film with this character Julian, and it annoys me so much. And then there's this scene later with these two cops in the car that I just can't stand. It almost gives me like Halloween 5 clown cops vibes. Maybe not that bad, but just totally doesn't fit into the film, unfortunately. Not cool, dude. Cameron does kind of redeem himself in Halloween Kills though, even though I know some people just still don't like him even in that film. But I think he redeems himself in Kills. I like his character quite a bit more in Kills. Kind of the same thing with Judy Greer's character, but he is a dick here. Don't get me wrong.
Check it out, fresh from my patch.
Oh my god!
His eyes are hearts.
I love it.
I love the pumpkin with the hard eyes and the heart nose. I think it's so cool. That'd be cool as like a little tattoo. I don't know.
Do you close the closet door?
Okay, so this is what I was talking about just a minute ago about jokey humor during kill scenes. But first of all, I want to talk really quickly about the trailer to this film and how cool it would have been if they didn't put the Michael closet scare in the trailer. Like, imagine if we didn't know he was going to be in the closet and how tense that would have been, and like just such a great jump scare. I mean, people still jump during this scene anyway, but just saying. Yeah, that right there is kind of what I have an issue with. I feel like kind of completely ruins the tension and the scariness of the scene, because like 9 times out of 10 that always gets a chuckle from the audience, and we're not supposed to be laughing. It's supposed to be scary when Michael's on screen killing somebody. Like, I don't want to be laughing. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I just think that that scene would have been just so much better without that. And you know, I realize even the original had like little moments of humor here and there, which again is fine. I typically have no issue with humor in my horror films. I just really wanted this film to have the littlest of humor and just be very scary and dark, which it is for the most part, except for little things like this that I have an issue with. I just want absolutely no humor during the kill scenes. Just keep it as tense as possible. This film is like near perfect otherwise. But yeah, what can you do? And love the homage to Ghost Bob. I also love the pumpkin in the fish tank. Like, why did Michael do that? I love that so much. Like, this film really does have so many incredible moments. Like, I've seen it several times. It still gives me chills watching it. Oof, now that is disturbing. Usually I would say like, oh bummer, like wish we could have seen that kill, but I actually don't mind that Dave's kill was off screen. There's something really creepy about just seeing the aftermath of his body pinned to the wall like that.
I'm Michael's doctor, Ranbir Sartain.
Oh, you're the new Loomis.
No, he's not. That's an insult to Loomis.
I got really horny at the party and they were feeding me guacamole in all these sexy ways.
See the humor in this scene with Oscar, kind of like hit or miss depending on the day for me. Like sometimes I kind of get a chuckle out of it. Sometimes I'm like, eh. I do love his kill scene though, and I love the chase scene that follows it with Allison. And I love the motion sensor lights with Michael. It makes for perfect Michael jump scare, and we get one here in a second.
I just really like her, man, and I thought that she liked me too, and have you ever really liked a girl and you just couldn't have her?
Oh, that's a pretty good line. I do like that one a lot. Yeah, so still kind of gets me.
Oscar!
The Shape hunts Allison. Amazing track. Amazing soundtrack. It's so good. It's so good. Like, it blows my mind how good it is. Jeez Louise, Lori.
He waited for this night. He's waited for me.
I've waited for him. Favorite final girl.
Look! It's him!
Here we go.
Don't hit him!
Watch out!
Yeah, we're approaching probably my least favorite sequence of the entire film, unfortunately.
I'm still gonna blow this motherfucker's brains out. I'm not gonna say it again. Step away from the suspect. Step away. Yeah!
Oof. No. I mean, thank goodness it doesn't get worse from here. But this does nothing for me. Like his short ass and the mask. The whole, I want to know what it feels like. Just kind of camp, honestly. And in a bad way. Like, I know Sartain was ultimately responsible for the bus crashing and getting Michael and Lori on the same path so they could reunite, but I don't know. I think they could have executed Sartain better or just write something completely different in terms of the bus crashing and leading Michael to Lori. Yeah, because the character of Sartain was just a miss for me personally. It just didn't belong in this film.
No, ma'am.
No, a banh mi sandwich. Banh mi is essentially just the Vietnamese version.
This was the other scene I was talking about earlier. A scene where the humor is just so bizarre and out of place and just not needed at all. Like just these two cops talking about sandwiches. Like I know that's special effects artist Christopher Nelson. I just don't get it.
Oh, fresh brownie.
Okay.
Chocolatey homemade brownie. I made that myself.
That's like what a 5-year-old would eat if they could make their own lunch.
Like, why did we need that? I guess just to give these two cops more screen time so that we know who the bodies are later when Ray discovers them in the cop car. I don't know. I honestly kind of cringe every time that part happens.
In spite of my encouragements, he remains unresponsive.
Oh, could you imagine being trapped in the back of a cop car with Michael Myers? Terrifying.
Say something.
Sartain does get a pretty gnarly death though. And I love that red lighting on the mask in that shot. Gorgeous. You know, I just gotta say this. Like, the one thing that I'm so glad that they got right is the mask. Michael's mask. Even if you don't like anything else about this film, you cannot deny that the mask is on point and that Michael looks badass. The way Michael moves, the way he stalks, just the look of him, the mask. The mask is incredible. I talked a little bit about this in my Michael Myers mask ranking video, how this mask kind of has similar eyes, a similar sadness to its eyes that I personally think only the original had. Like, they just did such a great job making this feel like the same Michael from 1978. I just love that they were able to replicate that and just add the right amount of age to the mask. They just really did a stellar job with Michael, and I truly think that's something you can't deny even if you dislike the rest of the film. Like, they killed it. Boy, they really didn't give this character much to do at all, did they? Poor bastard. His time has come. That is such a cool effect. The head as a jack-o'-lantern with the eyes carved out. I mean, he didn't stand a chance. Let's be real here. Damn, Laurie's gonna have some brain damage, that's for sure. I love how Michael is just now missing some digits in the next films. Such a cool shot. Beginning to sound like a broken record here, but damn. Another little sequence that I'm just not the biggest fan of, like with all the creepy mannequins and the zoom-ins, like another little scene that I would have edited out because I just don't think we need it. Andy is a great screamer though. She is incredible. This is probably a dumb question, but at what point did Michael put Ray's body in the closet? At some point there was a shot of Laurie's house and we saw Ray's dead body laying there in front of it. Shortly after that, Michael gets his fingers shot off and he goes inside the house and there's that badass shot of him standing, missing the fingers. How did he have time to go back outside, get Ray's body, bring it back inside, go upstairs and hide it in the closet before Laurie came back up to investigate? Because she wasn't down there with Karen for that long. I don't know. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Michael has done weirder and more unexplainable things before. Ooh, Laurie takes it. She's such a badass though. Like, she rolls off that roof and still gets back up. Stabbed to the stomach and everything. Oh my god. That is my favorite homage. Like, I don't get being a fan of the original and not loving that.
Help us!
This is a great scene.
I'm sorry, I can't do it!
Gotcha. Hell yeah. I'm so glad she got that moment. It always gets such a great reaction from audiences too, because it's so badass. And I understand, like, her character, the character of Karen, up until this point is not really supposed to be like the most likable character, but I feel like she redeemed herself right there. I definitely like her a lot more in Kills.
Happy Halloween, Michael.
Now that line I could have done without. Like, I love her coming out of the darkness as an homage to the original, of course. I just don't like that line, but Happy Halloween, Michael. Just a little too much for me. Frying pans really come in handy in these films, as we find out again in Halloween Ends. God, I love Allison so much. Hell yeah. You find out it was a trap all along.
Goodbye, Michael.
Oh my god. Wow. Just so badass, that shot of him looking up amongst the flames. Just something so beautiful with Michael and fire together. And then that score comes in. Oh, this is what being in love feels like. I'm giddy, I'm flushed over a damn movie. Love that last shot of Allison holding the knife. This powerful contrast to Laurie always dropping the knife repeatedly in the original. Just such a great ending. I'm gonna jam out to these end credits. Just a moment. Okay, you guys, that was Halloween 2018. Amazing film. Amazing film. I know I had some critiques, you know, the humor in some parts, the character of Sartain, but overall, I just have so much love for this film and for how well they managed to revive this franchise and bring it back to life, bring back characters like Michael and Laurie Strode in a way that just makes me so pumped up and proud to be a Halloween fan. As corny as that sounds, I loved seeing Laurie kick ass again. I loved the introduction to the character of Allison. I loved the kills, the effects, the atmosphere, the music. Ugh, the music. Oh my gosh, the music. Brilliant beyond words. Thank you, John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, Daniel Davies. So what do you guys think? of Halloween 2018. I know you've been asking me to cover this for a bit, so please let me know what your thoughts are. What's your favorite sequence from the film? What's your favorite kill? Honestly, I knew I already loved this film, but watching it again and again, I just love it more every time that I watch it. Yeah, I don't know what more there is to say. I had such a blast watching this on the channel today with you guys, and I'm so excited to cover kills and then ends. This franchise, man, like it just means so much to me. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Check out my second channel if you're interested. I'll link it in the description of this video. And yeah guys, take care. I'll see you in my next video.